Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Everyone is trying to scam me.
They know you're looking for a job, right?
I got an offer letter. They said, you have to download this app. I gave them my banking information. My boyfriend said that app has been used for scams.
New ways you're being scammed.
The man identified himself as a deputy.
He said that I had missed jury duty and that I'd be booked in a holding cell or I could pay a citation.
How much?
$2,200.
Plus, singer and songwriter Catherine McPhee and Grammy Award winner David Foster. They have some very exciting things to share.
Thank you so much.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Fishing, fishing, smishing, spearfishing, whaling, baiting, piggybacking, tailgating, business email compromise, water holing, and pretexting. All forms of social engineering. Ways for criminals to exploit your trust, your fears, and your mistakes. To steal your hard-earned money or your confidential information to commit future crimes. In fact, you have probably already been a target whether you fell for it or not. And you wouldn't be the only one, because last year, Americans lost over $5.6 billion. And that's only what was reported to these cunning criminals. Take a look.
Twitter has revealed new details about one of the biggest cyber attacks on the social network.
Hacking has evolved quite a bit.
It believes hackers accessed its internal systems after targeting Twitter employees.
Nowadays, it's a lot easier to try and get that information out of a human instead of trying to go directly to a server or a network. No one's immune to it. Social engineering is when a hacker will trick you. They prey on human emotions. The main goal for the hacker is usually the same, and that involves a monetary gain.
This is almost $40,000. I was in shock as I thought to myself, how could my money not be safe in a bank?
The day started out like any other when I received a call from the sheriff's department in my hometown. The man on the other end of the phone identified himself as a deputy for that department, and I was scammed out of $2,200.
We were in a rush to find a new home. It was almost like it was too good to be true, and it was. We were scammed. Our whole family is traumatized. In fact, I work with social engineered attacks, and it even happened to me. So I'm here to just let you know it can happen to you.
Well, now, joining me today is James McGivney. Now, he is a cybersecurity expert, former Marine, and founder of Bullyville. Also here is Brianna, and you are a victim of what's being called baiting, when scammers lure victims by promising something valuable in return, and you're not alone. Cybercrime is up 600% due to the pandemic. So tell us what happened.
We had a mold issue in our apartment that we were in, and I have a 9-month-old. So for me, it was an urgency to find a new home as soon as possible.
Sure.
We came across this home on a very popular website, very trusted website, it's supposed to be. And I came across this home, and it was a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath for the same price we were paying at our apartment. $2,450 is what it was listed for. So I reached out, I asked to see the home, and he told me it was a self-tour. As soon as I got there, he told me to call him. He gave me a link to a trusted, verified website to basically get this code and get the key. So as soon as I received the key, I toured the home just like I would any other home. And I loved it, and I asked for, confirmation to basically keep the key. He asked for the money up front. He asked for first month's rent and a deposit of the same amount of first month's rent. So it was a total of $3,600. We knew something was off. We just couldn't really pinpoint what. I also want to make clear, when we did apply for this home, we didn't ask to reach out to this man. We showed interest in the home from this trusted website, and he called me.
But you never met him in person?
No.
But here's the thing. So you decide to do this, and sure, all these websites are real websites, and they're not like clones. They're real websites.
Verified.
Yeah, verified, no kidding websites. And when you go over there, he gives you the code to the lockbox, you get the key.
Mm-hmm.
So
it seemed normal.
That legitimizes it further. You go in the house, look around, and so you sign a lease, make the deal.
Yes.
Okay. So what's going on here?
And isn't that tough? I hate the internet, just for reasons like that. It's just, the internet can be such an awful place. You have someone, and I'm really sorry that happened to you because that's horrible. You know, you have a mold issue, and you have your child, and then you have to deal with that. And the hackers and scammers, they prey off of human emotion, and you were excited. They knew that. So it was those two things culminated, it's how it happened. And very sophisticated, very sophisticated.
And you moved in, right?
Yeah, we moved in. We lived there for 5 days.
But you actually moved in. This is the thing, that the house delivered. I mean, she moved into, y'all moved into the house. And then he started nagging you for more money?
Yeah, so he was actively reaching out afterwards. It's not like he, took the money and ran. This was a situation where he stayed in contact and he asked us for more money up front, claiming that his daughter had leukemia and that he wanted the money basically to help her.
Okay, and he said the transaction didn't go through.
Yeah, so our bank actually...
So he was going to cancel that and you pay it again?
Yeah.
How did you find out we didn't actually lease this house?
We were waiting for him to come remove this lockbox. We asked him if he could remove it because it was still on the house when we moved in. So the next day, when I saw that this company, First Key Homes, came into our driveway, they basically came up to us. I'm thinking they're going to remove our lockbox. And she looked at me as if I had, a deer in headlights, basically. And I asked her what was going on. She asked me who I rented the house out from. And I told her the owner of this house, Floyd. And she's like, you've been scammed.
So you say, I got to get out of here, right?
Yes.
So they had to pick up and move.
And all the costs that were incurred with moving, too. Moving in and moving out in 5 days.
Where'd you move out to?
We moved to an apartment, thankfully, which was also a process. Because of what was going on, nobody wanted to approve us. They found us suspicious of what was going on with us, and we were kind of the blame. So we found an apartment down the road, and that's where we are right now.
Well, we've been in contact with First Key Homes, and they had absolutely nothing to do with it. And they're victimized as well. That's their point. Next, a seemingly innocent phone call from someone claiming to be a manager at her bank ended with her losing $40,000 of her hard-earned savings. Now, Charlotte says she never thought it could happen to her. That is, until it did. Now, I have a question before we go to break. How many of you think you have received a scam email or phone call within the last 30 days? Raise your hand. Mine's up, by the way. I got 3 or 4 right now. And nobody has my number. I guess it's from whoever had it before. But they're everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
All right. Well, we're going to meet her next and find out how $40,000 went up in smoke. We'll be right back.
Said that it looked like there was fraudulent activity on my debit card. He would cancel the card and overnight another one. From that point on, the scam was on.
And later, singer and songwriter Catherine McPhee and Grammy Award winner Dave.
I spoke to the customer representative and she said, it's as you feared. Wire transfers are trying to go out from your account. And I got freaked out, and she suggested that I cancel my account. I immediately went to the branch, and even while I was on my way, the scammers called me. I felt like I was being hunted.
We're talking about ways that criminals exploit you and steal your hard-earned money or your confidential information to commit future crimes. Now, Charlotte's ordeal began when she received a call from a man supposedly named Gerald, who claimed he was calling her from her bank. What happened?
I answered, and he said that it looked like there was some fraudulent activity on my debit card and asked me if I'd made any transactions in Georgia. And I said, no, absolutely not. So then he said that he would cancel the card and overnight another one to me, and it might be a good idea for me to put two-factor authentication on my account, which I agreed. That sounded like a very good idea. And from that point on, the scam was on. He immediately had to verify me and sent me a code, and I read the code back, and then that set off a series of codes. What I realized later on is those codes were getting into my emails and my phone company, and so that I could not get any kind of notifications.
Okay, so what's the red flag so far?
There's a few. So basically, he took over your life, right? He took over all your credit cards. He took over all of your login information. So the first red flag, it's tough though. You know, in your defense, he knew stuff about you already in advance. So where did he get that information from about her? Well, he probably got it on the dark web. So I can go on the dark web right now and get anyone's social security number in this audience in a matter of minutes.
Okay, define dark web for people.
The dark web is a smaller portion of the web. It's the wild, wild west. It's under no regulation, and it's where you can get credit card information about people. When you see that there's companies that are hacked, and all that information is usually dumped on the dark web.
But where's the dark web? How do people get on the dark web?
So you can't just get there on your own. You have to use a special browser to do so, to get on there. And there's a few steps you have to get to the dark web. I don't want to describe it now.
No, I don't want you to, but I'm just saying. Yeah, don't tell these people that.
No, dark web.
Some fishy-looking people over here on the right. All right, so... But it's accessible.
It's accessible.
You can find out
especially
how
accessible to hackers and scammers. That is 99% of the time where a scammer or hacker gets your personal information is from the dark web.
Yeah. All right. So they already have information about her. Yeah. And that's how they called her.
So they spoofed a number. So you saw the number coming in. It's from my bank. Right. And it's hard to tell at that point. I mean, normally the recommendation I give to people is, okay, let me give you a call back. And then you call the bank back and verify that it is indeed them that's trying to contact you. Other than that, there aren't very many red flags in this specific situation. It's
up till this point.
Up until this point.
And so he cancels your card, and what he was doing was locking you out, right?
Exactly. All these codes then began wire transfer that I found out later as well.
Now, they tried several wire transfers for like close to $50,000. None of them go through,
right.
But then later, like 20 minutes later, one goes through for $9,800, then one for $9,700, then the next morning, $8,900 and $8,900 again. So,
and you'll notice it was under $10,000 for a reason.
Yeah,
that's what really triggers the bank. Anything over $10,000. So these were smart hackers.
Well, they got you $800 back, right?
Yeah. I got $800 back like a week or two later.
What would you do if you got a call from someone claiming to be a sheriff's deputy saying you were going to jail if you didn't pay a federal fine? Now, that's exactly what happened to one young woman. So we're talking now, they're talking about threatening to put you in jail. We'll hear what happened to her next.
He said that I could either go down to the sheriff's department where I'd be booked in a holding cell, or I could pay a citation.
How much?
The first citation was $9.
The man on the other end of the phone identified himself as a deputy and told me that I missed jury duty, and he was wondering what my reasoning was for missing jury duty. He told me at that time I could pay a citation at that kiosk, or I could do nothing and I would be wanted for evading the charges. At the end of the day, this has been the most scary and scarring experience.
Now, in social engineering attacks, scammers often impersonate trusted officials like customer service representatives at a bank, a real estate agent, a manager at a reputable business, or a sheriff's deputy to con unsuspecting victims out of hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Now, Kaylee, I appreciate your being here. They told you it was a sheriff's office. They told you it was a bank and took you for 40. And by the way, your daughter was just getting ready to go to college, right?
Yes. And they robbed from their accounts for both of my daughter's college accounts.
So it wasn't just your account. They got into your
My two daughters' accounts as well.
Yeah. See, these are just scumbags, and they don't care. When you got the call, what did it say? Did it have caller ID? Where did it say it was from?
Yes, sir. It said Hopkins County Sheriff's Department.
What did they tell you?
He said that I had missed jury duty on a certain date and was wondering what my reasoning was. I told him that I hadn't received anything that said I needed to go. And he asked me if I lived at a certain address, and it was my childhood address. And so I was like, I don't live there anymore. I told him I probably hadn't received anything in the mail because I did move. And so he said that I could either go down to the sheriff's department where I'd be booked in a holding cell and they'd bring me in for questioning, or I could pay a citation using a kiosk that they had set up, or I could do nothing, and then I'd be wanted for evading the charges against me.
How much?
The first citation was $900, but that's not all they got out of me. I ended up paying 2 payments of $900 and a third one of $400 for a total of $2,200.
Yeah. Now, you said there was even a background soundtrack, and what was it?
Yeah, I could hear a police scanner in the background. I could hear paper shuffling.
Cops and IRS don't call. They either come or use the mail.
That's
correct?
Yep. And in this specific instance, hacking and social engineering is about emotion, and in this case, fear. So it's the human emotion that they're trying to pull out of you. And you were scared, it's not fun to think that you might go to jail. So of course you're going to be nervous, and they prey on that, and it's unfortunate.
How did a non-disclosure agreement figure into this?
Yes, he told me that because of the sensitivity of the court case that I was supposed to be working on, that he needed verbal agreement that I understood I was under a non-disclosure until I had either paid or went to jail, I guess. And then I couldn't get off the phone with him because then I would be wanted for evading the charges as well.
Is there anything that you look back on now that you feel like should have set off a warning bell? Or does it all still look legit?
At the time, looking back, I think that the Cash App probably was a red flag, using, those banking services and not something a little bit more legitimate. But in my perspective at that time, I didn't want to go to jail, and I was going to do anything that I could to get out of the charges against me. So I'm operating under the fear that I'm going to lose everything I've worked for.
Yeah. Now, listen, this is big business, and these guys are sophisticated. Now, I'm telling you, when you look, we've broken it down by age groups and how much money is involved here. Just in 2021, the grand total was $5.6 billion of scamming people. So this is big business. And this is clearly underreported because most people go, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. I'm good. Which is why I really appreciate you guys coming forward and talking about this. So it puts people on alert, which means don't trust anybody. I mean, seriously, anybody that's calling and they want money or information, hang up. Yes. Imagine getting a call and on the other end of the phone is a loved one in trouble. You would do anything to help them. If you're a grandmother and this is one of your grandchildren and they're sobbing so much, you can barely understand them. Well, that's what happened to my next guest. We're going to talk to her next. Now, Libby is a grandmother, and she's joining us virtually. Libby, thank you so much for talking to us.
Oh, my pleasure. I was sitting here at the table, and the phone rang. And this voice is hysterical on the phone, saying, I was in a car accident. I broke my nose. I have a split lip, and I need you to call my lawyer. And you can't tell anybody. And I said, Greg, is that you? And he said, yeah.
Okay, so you inadvertently, you gave him the name.
Exactly.
So he then uses that and identifies himself, and he's crying so much that you can't recognize the voice.
Right.
So that covers
he has a
that.
broken nose.
Okay.
And I thought that makes sense. And I thought, that's why I couldn't get a hold of him. He was in jail all day yesterday.
Yeah.
So he said, I called the lawyer.
Now, he tells you to put the money between two magazines, tape it up in a box, and do what with it?
He said that was, he needed 10% of the bail or whatever, and it was a gag order. He said I wasn't allowed to tell anybody. And I knew about this scam. I heard about it years ago. I couldn't think rationally at all. I was just shaken. So I didn't go to the curb. My oxygen only goes as far as the front door. I have cameras on my house. So I went to the front door, and then he came up, got the money, and went back to his car, threw it in the back seat. So the picture of his car and him coming up toward me was on the cameras. But,
did you get a license plate?
I couldn't. No, we couldn't get a license plate. And even the firehouse down the street, they checked the firehouse, and afterwards, and they got a better picture of the car from the football field across the street, but no license plate. They said it's very difficult to get a license plate.
So they haven't found the person yet?
Yeah, right.
How soon after did you talk to your grandson?
A couple of hours. I said, when did you get out? And he said, what? And I knew.
You knew right away.
And I had a little bit of a gut feeling.
Yeah.
But I was too emotional to stop it.
Your willingness to share this, I promise you, will re-up this in people's minds. And because this scam is going on right now as we're talking. I promise you this is going on all over the country right now. And, you know,
they have no conscience.
This big business, as we just showed you. Next, it can be really hard to find work these days. So imagine the disappointment of finding your dream job, getting hired, only to find out it was all a scam. Next.
Back in May, I was looking for some extra part-time gigs. I was immediately contacted for an interview. I had a feeling in general that I was talking to the same person. I'm obviously heartbroken.
Everyone is still trying to scam me. So this newest one got personal. So she got an email. It's not real. Can we stop trying to scam me?
Well, no, probably not.
Probably not.
Joining us are Laura and Callie, and they fell prey to separate recruitment scams that use social engineering methods, phishing, and business email compromise to lure them in and try to steal money from them. And, you know, this is, you know, they know you're looking for a job, right?
Of course.
Let's start with you. Give me the high points here. What happened?
Essentially, I had just graduated from college. I was coming off of a really hard semester. I managed to graduate on time despite losing my mom to cancer, all in the same semester. So I just needed some good news. I was applying to jobs on some popular sites. You know the ones. It's easy apply. You can rapidly apply to so many jobs. I was like, how can I put myself out there? And I heard back from one company fairly quickly. They were really eager to talk to me and get the ball rolling with an interview. And they said, oh, but you have to download this app. Well, they contacted me by email. And they said, you have to download this app, though. That's where we do our interviews. And I thought it went really well.
When did the other shoe drop?
Essentially, then I got an email the next morning with my offer letter. Congratulations, Callie, you've been selected. Just being Gen Z and loving social media, I said, let me go on LinkedIn and tell all my friends and every colleague I've ever had that I'm now a social media manager for this huge company out in California. You know, I'm from the East Coast. I'm from a small town. I was like, Callie's doing some big girl things. So I was really excited. And then I'm doing my onboarding. And they said, okay, we're actually going to send you a check for your computer, your iPhone, and your printer, which red flag because social media managers don't ever need to print anything these days. I gave them my banking information for direct deposit, my routing number, my account number. They had all of that information. They had my driver's license. When they sent me the check was so horribly photoshopped. It looked so terrible. Like, I could have done it better if I was in like preschool. It was terrible. And so I called my boyfriend who works in cybersecurity, and I was like, hey, question. What do you think about this? And he was like, he did about 3 minutes of research, and he said, that app has been used for scams exactly like what just is happening to you. Like, stop what you're doing, go to the bank and close your account. So got in my car, didn't stop once, went to the bank. I'm crying in there. I'm like, please, I gotta cancel my account. Luckily, the only thing I was robbed of was my dignity and pride. No money was lost. However, I was emotionally scammed. I told everybody on LinkedIn. I told my friends, my family, everybody closest to me. So it was just like a huge letdown. It was embarrassing. It was humiliating. And since then, I actually, because I had shared my story previously, I was reached out to by a lot of recruiters, a lot of other legitimate employment opportunities, and I now work for a new company because of the fact that I took it to TikTok, told my story. And
you're sure?
I did some extra Googling about their company and the people reaching out to me, and now I'm actually working now. I've gotten a paycheck.
Okay,
So.
You got a paycheck.
Yeah.
All right, and seriously, I'm very sorry about your loss.
Thank you.
Of your mom, and then this on top of that, just really exploits you when you're at your darkest hour.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's how
Absolutely.
that happens.
I'm thinking that we might have possibly been attacked by the same scammer.
And how did they try to get to you? Yours was slightly different.
Slightly different, actually really similar. I'm thinking that we might have possibly been attacked by the same scammer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was looking on a very popular freelancing website for some part-time additional income. I'm an independent musician, so I was looking for something to kind of pay the bills in the meantime. And I found a listing for a proofreader at a really well-known food brand company that I love. I applied, and they immediately contacted me for an interview. And my interview was done on a social messaging platform, a really popular one, all over chat. And now normally I would think that's a big red flag that I'm not talking to someone, not speaking to someone on the phone, but I've done countless jobs on this website as a freelancer without ever talking to someone face to face, because that's just how it's set up. So I went for it, and they conducted a very involved interview. I was feeling a little uneasy about the situation, and I looked up the women who were interviewing me, and both of them were on LinkedIn. The profile pictures matched. They were both legitimate people who worked for this food company. So it was very...
And how did they try to get to you?
So they basically did the same thing that happened to you. It was invoicing me for a computer with time tracking software through an outside vendor. And they said they needed to know if I had a mobile banking app. That was all they asked me. And from that point on, I demanded a phone interview or a video interview because I didn't trust who I was speaking with.
Yeah, so bells went off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this generates a lot of money. This one works a lot, right?
This works. My daytime job, I'm the senior director of cybersecurity for a multi-billion-dollar company, and I've seen it at our company.
Wow.
I guess the rule of thumb, when you really think about it, is just assume that everyone on the internet is trying to harm or scam you.
Yes.
And as long as you go online thinking that in advance, it'll be a better experience.
And trusting your gut. Like, I think there were so many little things that were easy to not read into and to brush off. Like, the position was for a proofreader, and there were very few grammatic errors.
Yeah.
So it was very legitimate. Yeah.
Well, guys, just be aware, and coming into the holiday season, they're out in droves.
That's true. And like you had said earlier, and you're dead on, you just got to go with your gut.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel like something's wrong, chances are it probably is.
Mm-hmm.
And Google's your friend for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
but just be aware, be careful, be cautious.
Yes.
All right. I want everybody to stick around. When we come back, I'm going to catch up with some good friends, David Foster and Catherine McPhee. They have some very exciting things to share and a special holiday performance from their new Christmas album. That's next. Well, joining Robin and me now are our really good friend, singer and songwriter Catherine McPhee, and 16-time Grammy Award winner David Foster. Now, this past year, they've been performing together all across the country and Canada.
And for the first time in 17 years, David and Catherine have recorded an album together that is guaranteed to put everyone in the holiday spirit.
So, yeah, glad to hear that. So it really is good to see you guys.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you. We always love coming on this show.
Yeah. So tell me about this new Christmas album. What inspired you to do all of this?
We thought we would put out like 2 or 3 songs on
Instagram,
on streaming platforms, and then it truly is like if David gets something in his head, he can't do it halfway, and it's just like it turned into a full-fledged record. And so we kind of have like part 1 this year, and then next year we're going to kind of do the second part of the.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, there you are.
So what was it, and be honest, because you both are just brilliant pros, what was it like recording together for the first time in 17 years?
It was great. I mean, I pride myself on being good in the studio and being nice in the studio. Maybe I'm not the best husband. I'm a good, producer.
You're a great husband.
Oh,
and
thanks.
You're nice in real life, too.
Oh, thanks.
You just, he has been on a couple reality shows. You could YouTube them if you want. And he has this, like, persona. You know how he does that thing where he acts like he's this hard guy, and he's really not. And he's the most lovely to be in the recording studio with. You are. I mean, everybody says that, not
Thank
just
you,
me.
but I'd like to point out something, and maybe you, as a doctor, could figure this out for us.
Oh, boy.
Oh, where did that picture go? Can we have the picture back?
Yeah, we can put it back up.
Is there any significance to the fact that I am Smurf size?
Yeah.
Is there any significance to that?
It wasn't my idea, so don't
No.
get mad at me. But.
I mean, hey, let me just hold my
listen.
husband in my hand here.
Gorgeous wife. Gorgeous wife.
She
She
belongs on
complimented
the-
you as a husband.
You're right.
You look
Gorgeous
very
wife.
James Bond, though.
Yeah.
I got to say, you do look very James Bond there.
Yeah.
I think that's a very inventive title, too, Christmas songs.
Well, there's a reason, by the way. Do you want to know what the reason is? So that when you go to Alexa, hey, play Christmas song, you get us.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Dion.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite traditions?
Well, Robin, I know you go crazy with
I
the
do.
decorations, and I don't come even close to you, but I do love that. As soon as Thanksgiving is over, I pull out all the Christmas decorations,
Love.
and I put the Christmas music on, and I just go crazy all over the house. Like the last couple of years, last year we were touring, so we didn't do that as much. But when we first,
we were with them last year.
Yeah,
in
we were.
Dallas, right at Christmas.
we
time.
were we had a date in Dallas, and we had lunch with you guys.
What are your traditions, particularly with the grandkids?
Well, when we first got married, our very first Christmas tree, I bought an ornament. So I have done a new ornament for us on our tree every year. So that's 46 ornaments.
Wow, 46.
So with both children, I started an ornament, and with our grandchildren, I've started an ornament.
You
that
have 4
reflect
now, right?
That year.
Yeah.
You know what? My
So-
mom sort of does that too, so I should start doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and boy, those get packed away, too.
Yes, and
I
they
mean, you'll
come
get a
every
box
year.
out, and it's real light, and you open it's got bubble wrap
I
down,
know,
and then it's got like
It's smaller and smaller.
year number 3. And it's 43 years old, but it's that one we've had forever, and it goes back.
So cool.
And then you've got them for the grandkids.
I do,
Yeah.
yes.
And she
So
does.
Rennie
She
gets
themes, she themes them too.
I do.
Yeah.
They reflect that year, something special in their life.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. No one can come close to Robin and her,
Yeah.
her
Robin's the
Christmas
queen.
traditions. Yeah.
No.
Catherine, tell us all about your new jewelry line.
Oh my gosh.
KMF, because I think it's brilliant that you've launched it just recently, right before the holidays.
Right. Yeah, I did launch
Hint,
it right before
hint.
the holiday. Exactly. I mean, it was good timing. It's been something that I've been working on for like the last year and a half, and it's been a real secret passion of mine. I obviously grew up knowing that I wanted to be a performer, a singer, and actress, but I was always in the bathroom, like playing with my jewelry and doing little jewelry trades with my girlfriends in elementary school. So it's been this passion that I've had, and I love, just like the holidays, I love to give gifts, but I particularly love to give. I'm such a good friend. I'm such a good daughter. I'm such a good wife. I love to give like jewelry because I think that it can hold, just like an ornament, like you remember what year it was, you remember where you were. And so I love giving gifts with jewelry. And so I really started a line out of convenience. Like, gosh, I give so much jewelry, I better just start a jewelry line. Which reminds me of Hallie and Laura. I'm so sorry to hear your story. I heard about it, and I wanted to give you a little symbol of love to remind you that you are still loved, even though there's not always great people out there. And amongst the other women, your stories, I have a little 18-karat overlaid rose gold heart necklace that we're going to gift to you guys. So thank you so much. Sweet.
It's nice to put a smile on the face after being scammed in terrible situations with the internet.
And you guys have done great work to expose some of those people. Too,
yeah,
so
it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Look, we've been talking about your holiday traditions, and you shared you have a new Christmas album just released. So how about you do a song for us?
Oh, I think we shall.
Yeah.
Can we do that? All right, well, we'll let you do it.
Okay.
All right, performing Jingle Bell Rock from their new album, Christmas Songs, is David Foster on piano and Kat McPhee singing. So here we go.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing the bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air. What a bright time. It's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time. It's a swell time to go gliding in one horse sleigh. Giddy up the jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. A mix and a mingle and a jingle and beat. That's the Jingle Bell Rock. Hit it, Dave! Blowing and blowing the bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air. What a bright time. It's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time. It's a swell time to go gliding in a one horse sleigh. Oh, giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. A mix and a mingle and a jingle and beat. That's the Jingle Bell. That's the Jingle Bell. That's the Jingle Bell. Oh, that's the Jingle Bell
Thank you guys for having us.
I want to thank all of my guests today, and a big thanks to Kat McPhee and David Foster for stopping by to catch up and perform one of many beautiful songs on their new album, Christmas Songs.
Oh, look at this guy. There you go.
Their album is out now and available for purchase digitally and on CD. They are also performing at the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas, December 16th and 17th. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen these guys in person for a full show, it is an experience. You need to do it. Done it many times, and it is so much fun every single time. Never the same, always an experience. Guarantee you'll be glad you did. Thanks so much for being here. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
headlines that I will not hold. You pointed at headlines that are way too old. Times have changed and so have I. I'm not living to survive. Don't fit in the box that you're putting me in. Won't sit through your talks that are making no sense. So you ain't gon' pave my way. Rather have it my own way. Swallow way too many pills, searching for some kind of thrill. You're just trying to cut me off. You take my pace every time I wanna run away. Let me be and move along. Swallow way too many pills, searching for some kind of thrill. You're just trying to cut me off. You take my pace every time I wanna run away. Let me be and move along. You can't take back the words that you said, that I'm not enough for you. Deep down I know that you regret it. Still you're trying to play it cool. You gotta see from my perspective. Every little thing I do was never for your entertainment. Won't ever be enough for you. You're painting my picture without a muse and giving me lectures about what I should do. You don't care about what I want. Cannot bear to be ignored. Swallow way too many pills, searching for some kind of thrill. You're just trying to cut me off. You take my pace every time I wanna run away. Let me be and move along. You can't take back the words that you said, that I'm not enough for you. Deep down I know that you regret it. Still you're trying to play it cool. You gotta see from my perspective. Every little thing I do was never for your entertainment. Won't ever be enough for you. Won't ever be enough for you. Take back the words that you said, that I'm not enough for you. Deep down I know that you regret it. Still you're trying to play it cool.